there are so many reasons why I got into teaching.
One of the best things is the light bulb moment.
When you see a pupil suddenly understand something, that's really, really special.
Every child is so full of potential, and the thing that makes me proudest to be a teacher is seeing them realise what they are capable of.
I don't think any other job can give you the same satisfaction.
That's why I chose to teach.
You could get £26,000 tax-free to train. Search Apply to Teach. Selected subjects only, subject to eligibility.
All right, Gamertag Radio listeners, we need your help. All right, so right now we're planning our E3 2016 coverage coming up really, really soon, and sometime in June. But before we do this, we need your help. I want you to go now to playitsurvey.com. That's playitsurvey.com and take a short survey that's going to help Gamertag Radio. So the more people out there that take the survey, it's going to help GTR big time. So, we're giving you free content every week, twice a week, so all I'm asking, if you could take your time and take this short survey, which is going to help us not only for E3, but also future plans, like future events. And we're planning a lot of cool stuff that hopefully, if everything goes through, is going to help the podcast big time. So please take a short survey. That's playitsurvey.com, and it's going to help us big time. So yeah, that's it. So let's do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, podcasting since 2005. You were listening to Gamer Tag Radio with your hosts Godfrey, Pete Rock, Paris, Pasta. Come on. Yeah.
Welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 556. Here's your host, Danny, a.k.a. Godfrey. And joining us this week, we have Paris. Paris, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me back. I'm excited.
You were just out for like what? You were just out for one day.
Yeah,
so one
day.
episode.
It's all good.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
All right. How's everything, man?
It's good.
Getting a lot of Voltron hate?
Yeah, I'm loving it too. Look, I called it. I knew I was going to get all this Voltron hate because it's the truth. People don't like hearing the truth. Lion Voltron sucks. There you go.
You suck. You suck. Your vehicles suck. Anyways, we also have Pasta and Jay in the house. Pasta, what's up?
What's up, guys? Harris, I didn't know there were people that did not like Lion Voltron. That's shocking. But that's cool, man. I respect your opinion on that.
Here's the thing. If you look at it for what it is, take out the nostalgia. Just look at Lion Voltron for what it is. It's the same episode every week.
Oh, of course.
They run into the roe beast they try to fight the roe beast as the lions. They get their tails kicked. They form Voltron. They fight the roe beast again. Roe beast is still winning. And they're like, oh crap! Blazing sword, swipe, kaboom, da, 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 and then that's it. Whereas Vehicle Voltron, you got the air team, you got the land team, you got the sea team, and they don't even need to get Voltron to get the job done. But when they do form Voltron, watch out, because he got an array of gadgets and weapons to take you out. He don't need the sword. That was the great thing. He only used sword half the time. He had the whip and all these other things he did. He had that wave beam that came out. He was awesome. And those that don't understand that have not properly watched the Vehicle Voltron. He's the better one because he doesn't cheat, period.
That is a very strong argument.
Hate at fanmail at gamertagradio.com. I accept all the hates at Vicious696 because I will never back down from this ever.
Wow.
All right.
But then he has that Lion Voltron at his house.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's up, Pete?
No, you don't say that.
Hey, let me introduce Pete. Let me introduce Pete. All right? Pete, welcome to the show.
And it's not one, it's two Lion Voltrons on his counter.
And they were both given to me. They were given to me.
See, all right, so I don't disagree with Paris, but the only reason they don't have to form Voltron and you bring out Blazing Sword is because it's like traffic on the 405. You got 47 different cars coming at you. And it's just like they overpower you with numbers.
Hey, that works.
I got no other argument, man. I'm more of a Macross Robotech guy, so
I'm a Gundam guy, so I guess I'm not that passionate about this either.
No, the crazy thing, Paris posted like a video of the most violent Voltron I ever seen in my life.
That is the truth.
You completely killed my childhood, man. After seeing them, I'm like, what? This is so violent.
No, but remember what I was saying on the episode before? I was like, oh, I think they shot Nanny in the back, and then I watched the video. I was like, no, they shot her straight up, just right in the gut.
Right in the chest, and the bullet goes through her neck.
I know.
It's worse. It's not even just like, bam, one shot. No. In the chest, out the neck. Ugh.
Even the mice. Remember they had like their little vehicle.
Yes.
They was gangster too. They shot the one dude right in the mouth with a bomb and blew his face up. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. This ain't for kids.
Anyways, all right. So head over to gamertagradio.com. Put your comments, feedback, and also download our past episodes. You can also share it with your friends, and you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify. Spread the word.
Where do they go?
Give us a call.
You didn't say the URL. You said play.it/gamertag. Come on.
I was going to say it right now, Pete. Thanks. All right. You could go to gamertagradio.com or play.it/gamertag. Happy, Pete?
Very happy. Very happy.
There you go. Also, give us a call. 786-273-7GTR. That's 786-273-7GTR. Or email us, fanmail@gamertagradio.com. Another thing, too, send all your hate to Paris because he just posted a couple weeks ago, actually a couple days ago, on Twitter, this is the end of an era right here. Xbox One completely turned off. He erased every content he has from his console. And I don't know what he's going to do with this. What are you planning to do with your console, Paris, before we go to the next topic?
I love how you put me on the spot immediately. I figured we just ease into this, but hey, if we're just going to run right into it, we're going to run right into it. So, yeah.
Yes, it's raw.
Here's the thing. And,
yes.
I've been talking about this on social media. Anybody that's been following me already knows this. But, I no longer own an Xbox One. And I made up my mind because of the Build conference with Phil Spencer. And he came up there talking about how moving forward, the majority of their games will be on Windows 10, except games that don't make sense to be on a PC. Like it definitely needs to be a console experience or vice versa. You won't see them. Like if it's some real-time strategy game, like, I don't know, Age of Empires or something like that. No, that's going to be Windows 10. You won't see that on Xbox One. But there could be particular type of games on Xbox One that you won't see on Windows 10. But the vast majority, aka the Forzas and the Gears of the world, are most likely going to show up on Windows 10. Now, Quantum Break, which I'll be playing tomorrow on Windows 10. I just realized, I was like, look, I don't use my Xbox One. I don't. If we have a game to review, yeah, I'm going to review the game. I'm going to talk about it and do all that kind of stuff. But I realized after Halo 5 and just how disappointed I was with it, that the current crop of exclusive games on the Xbox One are simply not for me. As it stands today, they're just not games that I care to play. So moving forward, if you're going to give me the same experience on Windows 10, why even own an Xbox One? And I'm strictly talking for myself. And this, before you even send the hate mail, this is not a hate thing. Xbox is none of that. It is a.
No, we're just joking.
I know you are, but look, I got to make sure that I make that clear because people get mad about this stuff. This is not a console fanboy thing. Nothing. It's just that, and I've talked about this for years. The majority of my gaming experiences are on the PC. Yeah, there are some console exclusives that I want to play. I'm sure we'll be talking about one here on the PlayStation 4 in a few minutes, but there's still some exclusive games I want to play on the PlayStation 4. So for my gaming preferences, it just makes sense to have a PC to play probably 80 to almost 90% of my gaming experiences, and that 15 to 10% of console games I'll play on the PlayStation 4. And those games that I would have played on the Xbox One are now going to be on Windows 10. So I'll just play them on Windows 10. Not to mention, and like I said, I know we'll get into all this stuff. There's going to be some PlayStation 4Ks and Xbox 2E Nexuses and all this nonsense. So if in the next 6 months I don't see myself playing an Xbox One, I don't need to own it. I'd rather give my Xbox One to someone who can actually use it and take advantage of it, and I'll sit it out for a little bit. And then we'll reevaluate it probably at the end of the year going into 2017, and we'll see. But if Gears 4 is on Windows 10, you've now given me another less of a reason to own an Xbox One because I'm playing on Windows 10. Same with the Crackdown 3, stuff like that, Cuphead, etc. Forza, obviously, we know all those are going to be on Windows 10. So that's how I'm looking at it for my gaming life, my gaming preferences. I don't necessarily need to own an Xbox One today. So I've chosen to basically, like I said, give it to someone else, because what I learned in these almost 3 years of the Xbox One being out is 90% of the time it was just the middleman so that I could watch television. That was it. You know, if anyone's been my friend on Xbox Live, when you see me online, what am I doing? Watching TV, watching Netflix. I'm not playing a game. So again, why have it on?
Trying to figure out how the chat works.
Well, that was on Windows 10. I was on the Xbox app on Windows 10 trying to go into a party thing and it wasn't working. I still can't get it to work, so I don't know what's up with that. But you know, being able to use voice commands with Kinect wasn't enough for me to want to keep the Xbox One. So, like I said, I decided to move on from it. And it's not I hate Xbox or Xbox sucks or 900p. It's none of that nonsense. Because I had some people on Twitter the other day, I was talking with Tony. We were going back and forth about resolution and PlayStation 4K and all that. And they were getting mad because we're talking about 1080p 60 frames per second. That doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. No one said it did matter. All we're saying is these new consoles, that's probably what they're going to do. But, you know, we'll talk about that in a minute. But going back to the point, I no longer own an Xbox One, and I'm okay with it. And I await people's feedback. I'm curious what people think about it. But for me, having a PC and a PlayStation 4 seems to be good enough right now. And that's what I'm sticking with.
And people are gonna say I was just joking around, so don't say your hate to Paris. I was joking around.
No, they can't. If people are upset about it and they want to contact me, we can have an adult conversation about it. But I mean, if you want to start calling me names and doing silly stuff like that, I'm just gonna ignore you. Side note, just like the moron on Twitter last night that was a Roman Reigns fanboy and was mad at me because I'm talking about how the crowd's booing him at WrestleMania. Who cares? Just the internet is hilarious to me. It's just funny, but whatever.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Welcome to Play It, a new podcast network featuring radio and TV personalities talking business, sports, tech, entertainment, and more. Play it at play.it.
This is Gamer Tag Radio. Voicemail 786-2737-GTR.
So let's talk about this, man, because I know, you know, a couple episodes ago we were talking about the rumor that Sony is working on a PlayStation 4K console. And now after that, people have been asking Phil Spencer, is there going to be something similar to that for the Xbox One? They were calling it Xbox 1.5 or something like that, right? And one of the things that Phil said that he's not really a big fan of that type of stuff. But then today, I believe, Paris, right? We found out that there was someone from Microsoft that put in his LinkedIn profile that he's working on this called Xbox Next. Is that a 1.5 that people have been asking to Phil? And that's the thing I'm kind of confused here because... Well, yeah, go for it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, even though you do it to me all the time. But I had to throw that in. But my thought on it is this. It could be one of two things. To be fair, and I just remember this from the 360 era, that they start thinking about and working on the next consoles years in advance of them actually releasing. So in theory, this could be the quote unquote next version of the Xbox as they're stating right now. But my second thought is this. I know what Phil Spencer said, and of course he's going to say something like that right now because you don't want to cannibalize your sales. You still want to sell Xbox Ones until the next version of it is ready. But I don't see how this is they're not doing a quote unquote updated Xbox One. Pauston, you were there at the spring showcase. You heard what Phil Spencer said to the media as we sat there. We obviously couldn't post that for everyone to hear, but he talked about basically updating the hardware, you know, for this current generation, you know, basically, you know, iterating on what they currently have. And, you know, pretty much the PlayStation 4K is the worst kept secret in the industry at this point, because there's like, if you go to NeoGAF, there's verified developers that are actively talking about it at this point. So we know that's coming at some point. In my personal opinion, Microsoft would be insane to not update the Xbox One, because if they were to simply wait it out until they do come out with the next generation of consoles, PlayStation at that point is going to be so far ahead, and they're going to be behind Nintendo at that point with the NX and all that. I just don't see it. They're going to do something, because if you look at what Microsoft is doing, they're saying that Windows 10 is the gaming platform. Your Xbox One is now basically just a mid-tier PC, right? You can have a high-end PC, build your own, still play all these games. So in that scenario, your Xbox One stays a mid-tier PC. Why can't you have an updated Xbox One that can do the 4K video streaming, probably get a rock solid 1080p 60 frames per second on all your games, and it's still backwards compatible to all Xbox One games. And even if you have an Xbox One, you can still keep playing these games. They're just going to be at 900p, maybe they're at 30 frames per second or whatever, which is basically what I think Sony's going to do with the PlayStation 4K as well. So I think it's real. And like I said a couple weeks ago, I think both of these things drop in 2017. Personally, that's just my opinion. I would be shocked if they come this holiday, but I think we'll definitely see them next year.
So what stops?
Critical? Oh, sorry, Pete. I was going to ask Paris real quick. I mean, Paris, do you think it's critical that Microsoft gets out ahead of Xbox with their newer development, newer SKU, or do you think this damage is irreparable and it's always going to be a 2-to-1 ratio until the life cycle of this console is over?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. I mean, you at least want to be on par and keep pace from this point. But the damage that they did at the launch of this generation, there's no way they're going to be able to catch up from that unless they just have some exclusive gaming experiences that are just absolutely mind-blowing and people have to have them. But the one thing that they have done is, by opening all these games up to Windows 10, you don't necessarily need a console to play these games anymore. So I don't know if that's the path either. Because again, look at what I just said. You're like Quantum Break. I ain't playing it on Xbox One. I'm going to play it on Windows 10. You know what I mean? For example. So, but you don't want to have a console that is just so underpowered from your competition that it just starts to look silly. So they're going to have to do something. They have to. I just don't see how they don't.
That's what bugs me. That's what like picks at the back of my head, considering the fact that Microsoft is so far I don't want to say so far behind because they're in second place, but you know, the majority thought on the Xbox One versus PlayStation is, oh, it's lesser hardware, it can't do as much. What stops Microsoft from saying, okay, we're no longer going to put out a second-rate console experience? Now that we know we're behind the eight ball, let's go all out. Do they take the loss? Do they go ahead and say, okay, maybe not put the equivalent of a 980 Ti, but something that would be remarkable enough to put it on par or beyond what the PS4 or the PS4K could potentially bring? Now we know they're talking, what is it, the HDMI 2.0 that'll allow the 4K experience for streaming, but put a GPU in the console consummate to what most people would consider a middle of the road, or maybe a mid to high range gaming machine, but just one for like the Dannys of the world who don't, and it's no slight to you, Danny, that doesn't require someone who has to tinker or know the ins and outs of replacing, components and modifying, if I want a bigger GPU, if I want to overclock my GPU or do whatever. What stops Microsoft from going ahead and saying, okay, well, you know what, we took the loss, we took the L. Now we're going to come back kind of like, like Ali used to, just take beatings throughout the first 8 rounds and then just come out and just knock, just pummel you with punches. What stops Microsoft from doing that?
Well, if you go by Phil Spencer's quote, I mean, he kind of said
that's corporate site speak, though, and you know that.
Yeah, no, I know. But if you go by what he said, he's like, basically, hey, if we do something, we're going to go all out. You know what I mean? So in that scenario, I still think the GPU cost to be able to do legit 4K gaming is just too expensive at this point. I don't think we're going to see that even with the new Pascal and AMD architectures that are about to come out. But even with that said, I think you can lock in 1080p 60 frames, across the board with your games, unless it's basically an artistic choice to go down to 30 frames per second for whatever reason on your games. 4K probably in some smaller indie titles, things like that. I think that's what we'll see with this iteration of both these consoles moving forward. We might even see with the NX. I mean, don't underestimate what Nintendo may potentially do either. But to throw, look, the precedent is there that Microsoft will kill a console early, because that's what the 360 was. It was them killing the original Xbox early, 4 years into its life, and going with the 360. I don't think at this point in the Xbox's life cycle, since 2001 or whenever it came out, I don't think they're going to do that again. But this mid-generation quasi upgrade, that I see, and again, all the rumors say Sony's doing it too. So yeah, that doesn't shock me at all. And honestly, if you come back and the price is at $399 and you still keep the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 around for a couple more years at a $199 price point, and you can still play all the same games across the board on all these systems, you're not hurting anybody. You're basically making a choice to go spend $399 or whatever the case may be, because you want it to be truly at 1080p and 60 frames per second, and you want to be able to watch House of Cards in 4K. You know what I mean? That's on you, if you want to do that. You're not being forced. You can still, again, the thing that I was saying before, like when you look at the original 360 to what it was at the end of that generation, you'll still be able to play Halo 5 on your Xbox One and Halo 6 and all these things. I don't think that's going to change, no matter what they do. It's just, they're just putting a little more power under the hood, and it's just going to look a little prettier and a little smoother. That's what it's going to come down to. And in reality, they're basically getting these consoles to what they should have been when they originally launched. I mean, and that's kind of been my biggest beef with this current generation regardless. That's what, Tony and I, shout out to Rodamith, we were talking about this on Twitter, is honestly, they should have waited a year before releasing any of these consoles, because the technology would have matured a little more, been a little cheaper, and we would have had 4K at launch and probably could have got a little closer to 1080p, 60 frames per second in 2014 versus them rushing it out in 2013 because they were in competition. So, I think this PlayStation 4K and this Xbox Next 1.5 rumor, whatever, is just basically both of these companies fixing their mistakes. Same with Nintendo fixing their mistake with the Wii U.
The thing is, too, is that, Sony is going to release this 4K stuff, and Xbox, maybe we'll see what's up. Is that for me? Because that's the thing. I don't have a 4K, so why I should buy this console besides just 4K experience?
That's pretty much it. You just answered your question.
I think that is the only reason, yeah. I mean, it's either you vibe with that, I want to have the newest, greatest thing, but obviously you don't have the $1,000 to $2,000 for the gaming PC you technically want to build. So yeah, I think that market has existed for a long time, that gap between the console and the PC space. So it's really a question of who's going to grab that market share first. Because you'd have to imagine people that would spend that extra money over the standard model. Because it takes a hardcore gamer to look at two Xboxes. One's $200, like Paris said, and it plays all the stuff Xbox One did. And then one's $400 to $500 that has the 4K option. More people are going to pick that $200 option, because at the end of the day, they play console gaming because it's simple, it's easy to pick up and play. It has a large library of games that you don't need to go and tinker your machine with. So I think a 4K model will sell. I just think it's like the first one out the gate's going to be the winner. The one that's more aggressive, first one out the gate, has the better specs. If either side can nail all those three down, I think that's already, you're winning that contest. So I'd be really curious to see
price.
Price is critical too, because again, it's the console space and people are looking for value, especially when we get into the holiday season, when you have the majority of people that, would now jump in to the console cycle once it's, a bit cheaper. Certainly a $200 entry fee would be, anybody would be really jumping at that point. So then you're back to the exclusives. What is more powerful for you? Is Quantum Break allure you more than Uncharted 4? Are we going to have the same conversation after E3 once we know what exclusives are going to be available for both platforms coming this year and early next year? So a lot of questions, but I mean, I'm interested in the 4K technology. But I mean, again, at this point, as Paris said, when you do the majority of your gaming on the PC, you're naturally inclined just to stay with that. But I'm still interested in the Xbox brand, certainly because I can play them on Windows 10 now. So very excited to go back through and play Quantum Break again on Windows 10 to see how much different the experience is at the higher resolution, higher frame rate.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else?
I'll say this. I'm going to get the PlayStation 4K, and I would probably.
So you're already committed, Paris. You're committed to the idea of it.
Because I'm a tech nerd, though. Okay. I mean, it's look, I'm always looking to flip my stuff and upgrade it. So if you're basically telling me I can have a PlayStation 4 and it can natively do the 4K streaming and all that, and it's going to up-res my current games from 1080p to 4K. Because again, I have a 4K TV, so I'm in that market that you're trying to capture because I already have the television. It's not like I need to go run out and get the TV. So if it's $399, I would consider it.
Would you upgrade the Emerald?
Great question.
Well, I did. It's called my PC and it's GPU.
I knew it.
And again, like I said previously, that really would just come down to what. See, by Microsoft opening up Windows 10 for someone like me, and I know I'm in the minority on this. This is not everybody, but for someone like me, I have to seriously sit down and think. Why do I need an Xbox One if I can play the games on the device I play the majority of my games on anyways? That's what it comes down to. So even if there is that Xbox Next 4K, whatever the heck, 260 that they're going to call it, I'll look at it. If the specs are hot, I could be excited about it. But then when it really comes down to it, do I want to put $400 down onto that? Or do I want to take that $400 and upgrade my current GPU to whatever the new Pascal chip is going to be? That's what I have to start thinking about when it comes to that in Microsoft. Because, again, they're going with Windows 10, the UWP, everything across the board. That's what I have to think about because it's not just about the Xbox One anymore. It's about the Windows 10 platform and all the universal apps and games.
True. For those who are listening out there, give us a call, 786-273-7GTR, or email us fanmail@gamertagradio.com. I want to know your opinion about all this because this is getting a little bit too confusing for me and too much because the whole 4K stuff. I mean, I don't know, man. For me to buy a new device, it has to be something that's going to completely change my mind. I'm going to go out there and buy it. Mm-hmm. If not, I'll just stay with my own PlayStation 4 and Xbox, and I think I'll be fine. If I'm getting the same gaming experience, I think I'll fine.
It'd have to be an amazing difference. They'd have to show me 4K, Crackdown 3 on the Xbox 4K, and it's just, but it'd be mind-blowing. I'd be like, oh, wow, okay. I see the potential for that now. If I didn't already have the PC, then absolutely, I'm already in that market of being like, yeah, that actually sounds pretty good. And on the same thing, Paris said he's already committed to the idea of PlayStation 4K. I wouldn't say that at this point, but if you showed me Uncharted 4 running natively at 4K, I probably might change my mind. So it's all in what the experience is going to be. What can they give me on the console side that I cannot get on the Windows 10 side? And it's not a slight at Xbox because as me and Paris both saw Phil's talk about this back spring showcase. Windows platform, that's fine. That should be your goal moving forward. That way everyone gets to play your games and no one feels left out of the experience because they've either spent too much money, already have the PC gaming experience, or they already have the console experience and they don't feel like doubling down to buy essentially what to them in their eyes would be another version of the same thing. And I'm sure a lot of people will be willing just to sit out the cycle entirely just to see what we're going to get on the next console cycle. What's natively going to be built in, and not have to wait for an upgrade down the road. We'll see.
How much is a 4K TV right now nowadays?
$1,200 to about $1,000 to $1,500.
$1,500?
No, not even that.
I said $1,000 to $1,500.
No, less than that.
Really? Well,
yeah.
I guess it depends on what size you're going.
Look, not to let people in on our inside business, but the 4K television that I'm looking at right now is an LG 50-inch, and it was what? How much? $600?
Okay. And the 65 in my living room was $1,400.
Yeah, I mean, the 60-inch out in my living room, it was like $1,400. But I'm just saying, this is a 50-inch, and the picture on it's amazing, and it was like $600, and it's only getting cheaper.
That's amazing. Waiting for Black Friday.
Okay.
We'll see.
I just feel like it's a very small market, but
It'll grow. Trust
it's
me.
still new.
It's
just too new.
But see, I don't
Maybe
think
a
it's
couple
the
years.
same kind of gimmick play that the TV developers tried to do with the curved screen, which actually I was considering this. The whole 3D screen 2 years ago. Now it's the curved screen. Those are things that fell out. 4K, similar to when everybody's like, oh, it's 720, and then 2 years later, oh, it's all 1080p. Now it's 4K. Resolution isn't the gimmick. It's the other outliers like the curved screen or the 3D effect. And those are the things that you need to be cautious on jumping into. It's not resolution. Resolution is what you want. You want the higher resolution so that you want the higher resolution support so you can watch these things in the best quality possible. You want the high refresh rate. You want if you like soap opera TV, as my friend calls it.
Yeah, I turned that off. That's but the other thing, even more so than the resolution, is, and this is the next part that's coming to 4K, is HDR, which is high dynamic range, and the colors just pop off of that. Netflix is going to start doing it with some of their shows this year. Which, again, speaking of Netflix, Danny, if you watch Daredevil in 4K, then you will want a 4K TV. I will just leave it at that.
Agreed.
Okay,
Agreed.
But that's a crazy bandwidth. But okay.
So, guys, obviously, it's a big time of year. We're starting to save up money for all the big games coming out once we know at E3, are we getting a PlayStation 4K or are we getting a Nintendo NX? Where's my money going for the rest of the year? So financial planning is important. So I want to tell you guys about LearnVest. LearnVest is an online financial company who helps plan and manage and organize your financial life. So these are the kind of guys that you want to go to if you need help pay off student loans, if you need to look about, getting help with a mortgage, fixing your credit. These guys are really dedicated people, these certified financial planners standing by 24/7 to answer your questions. So right now we have a great special going on. If you go to learnvest.com/GTR, we'll get you a $50 savings credit towards your own personal financial planner. And again, this comes with a real life human being. You don't want to talk to a machine. You don't want to go back and forth in an email chain with a bot. You want to talk to a real human, a certified financial planner who's there to help you with your big decisions in life, to help you start savings, to help you plan for retirement, plan for college, anything you need in life. LearnVest is there to back you up and to have certify a financial future that's right for you. So again, just go to learnvest.com/GTR to get a $50 credit off of your own personalized certified financial planning package with learnvest.com. Again, that's learnvest.com/GTR.
And don't forget, if you want to afford that PlayStation 4K and the Xbox 2012 and some 980 Ti cards and 4K TVs and all this nonsense, you better go to LearnVest. LearnVest.com/GTR.
You got to do it, man. If you're not smart with the money, you're going to be really, really hurt when they start announcing all this cool stuff like the Oculus, the Vive, the Morpheus, the 4K. I mean, it is a great year to be a tech lover. I cannot wait for the end of the year.
Look, if you want to go play Minecraft in 4K, because I know I do, you better go get some LearnVest. That's all I'm saying.
So let's talk about this because there's been a lot of gaming sites that got to play Uncharted 4 that's coming out next month for the PlayStation 4. And honestly, I don't want to read anything or see any video of Uncharted 4. I want to be surprised once the game releases next month. But I believe, Paris, you were the one that posted in the chat of the new gameplay video of Uncharted 4. Your thoughts?
Oh,
when you got to see it?
Yeah, I was blown away. I mean, Naughty Dog, I was saying to Mandy in the chat, Naughty Dog, graphically, they're console savants. What they're able to squeeze out of the PlayStation 4 is just amazing to me because Uncharted 4 is just a beautiful game. Those environments and just the level of detail of all the characters, everything that they're doing. I mean, even just the audio, the side banter, the dynamic side banter between Nathan Drake and Sully and his brother as they're driving in the Jeep was fantastic because everything that was happening that the player was doing, the AI characters reacted to it and had comments about it in the conversation. Dude, it was great. The gunplay seems vastly improved. Now, I know they were doing some targeting stuff with the enemies and things like that. Maybe that can be toggled on or off, depending on your difficulty level. We'll see. But overall, I mean, I'm a huge fan of the Uncharted series. I mean, so much so that would be a reason alone to own the PlayStation 4 for me, just because I love that series that much. 3 was a little bit of a letdown to me, but 4 looks to be the redemption for Naughty Dog with this franchise, and it can go out in style. So I'm excited. I can't believe we're only a month away at this point. So I cannot wait to play this game. It is a graphical showcase. And again, if you've played the Uncharted series, you know, storytelling, they get it. They know how to do it. That's fantastic as well. So this is shaping up to be probably the first game of the year contender for 2016 easily.
Woof. That's big words. Big words from Paris. No, but I'm excited. I'm excited because May 10th, that's the release date. And another thing, too, is that this is going to be Naughty Dog's last Uncharted game, because I think PlayStation is probably going to have some new developers work on the Uncharted games and stuff. So I'm excited, man. I think they're going to get out, they're going to end the series with a bang, I think.
It's going to be, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully, I don't think it's going to have that 4K flavor until later. They'll probably do like an HD or 4K remaster at the end of the year, whenever this new 4X series of PlayStation devices finally come out. I'm actually looking forward to it. I know I've slept on the Uncharted series. I turned in my late pass last year when I finally picked up my PS4. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. And like Paris was saying, the banter, like when he tosses the grenade, he's like, "Oh, here you go, catch this." And it's like, it goes back to the. I know people argue, "Oh, it doesn't have to be the graphics, it has to be gunplay, blah 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 blah." It's little things like that go a long way towards the experience, and we'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited, very excited for this, man. So. But are you guys excited for the multiplayer or just the single player game?
For me, just the single player. I've never really gotten into the Uncharted multiplayer, but I mean, the people that were playing the beta seem to really like it. So I mean, I'll give it a shot. I'll check it out, but I don't necessarily know, as I sit here today, that it's something that I'll get hardcore into playing.
So I know there's been more leaks. It happens every time. Before E3, Paris, what is the latest leak that just came out recently today?
Okay, so there was a poster on Reddit, and he's verified because he got some other Nintendo information right in the past, and he leaked the supposed NX specs, and he's saying it's going to be an x86 architecture, which is the same as the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4, aka it's basically a PC. It's going to be able to back up data to Nintendo servers. He's saying most likely My Nintendo. There's going to be support for an additional screen. It can handle ports of current gen games and will be able to interact with smart device apps. And we've obviously seen the Nintendo app that's out now that everyone's been messing around with. So I'm assuming it'll be something similar to that. And using NX software, you'll be able to unlock My Nintendo reward points. And that's all he put out so far. So I mean, it's sounding like Nintendo's going to try and go for it. They're not going to just half-ass it this time and have an underpowered machine. Maybe it's something that'll be on par, be future thinking this time. And hopefully, in my personal opinion, they announce this thing at E3 and it launches with Zelda. It just makes sense. Why not? So I'm excited to see what Nintendo does. I hope they can get third-party support going again on that system, so that not so much that they compete directly with Sony and Xbox, but just so that Nintendo is relevant other than just their games. Like, it's a viable option for someone that can only afford one console, versus if they want to play all the games, they got to get a Wii and they got to get, a PlayStation or an Xbox.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I want to be surprised during E3, man, because Nintendo got their last press conference when they revealed the Wii U. It was kind of weak. It was very, very weak. So I hope they could manage to do a better job with that too, man. This time, we'll see. But yeah, Zelda makes sense. Now my question is, do you think that is also going to be released for the Wii U too, or is it just strictly for the new console?
I say just go for it and make it just the new console.
Man, that's going to be a lot of fans pissed. Though,
What? All 100 of them? It ain't like there's a bunch of Wii U's.
That's so cold. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure current Wii U owners would be upset about that, but I'd rather this not be a cross-generational game. Make the best Zelda possible. I want Skyrim or Witcher 3 in the Zelda world. That's what I want. So use the full horsepower of whatever this NX is going to be versus having to worry about making sure it's still compatible with the Wii U.
Yeah, the GameCube, I think they released the Wii version first, and then like a month after that or two, then it got released for the GameCube.
I remember
Zelda
that
came out, right?
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they could do something similar like that.
I don't want, but like I'm saying, I that's probably what they're gonna do. But it's like I said, I'd rather them take full advantage of the new architecture, the new system. Make the environments bigger and better, and the dungeons more complex and beautiful. You know what I mean? That's what I want from Zelda. I want to see a Zelda that just blows me away. Which, hey, this one might do it anyways. Who knows? But I'd rather them just say, you know what, Wii U was a mistake. We're going to stop supporting that thing, and we're just going to move forward. All your old Wii U games will work on the NX, but NX games only work on the NX, and we're not going backwards. This, in other words, don't do what Microsoft and PlayStation's about to probably do, right? Just we're moving on and just support the new thing and just go from there. That's what I want.
Wouldn't you rather have a developer or a console maker that is constantly refreshing, someone who's acknowledging that, okay, so this hardware may not be working, and they put out, console refreshes every 2-3 years, versus someone like Nintendo that's like, all right, here you go, have a nice day, this is all you're getting?
Yeah, that's exactly what I want. See, and that's the other thing. With technology advancing so much now, I think we as the consumer have to change our expectations for console hardware. I think they are going to start refreshing sooner rather than later anymore. Because what was the PlayStation? Was it the PlayStation 2? Wait, who was like 8 years before they updated? I forget.
Oh, PlayStation, almost a decade.
Yeah, something crazy like that. So it's like
PlayStation 2.
It was PlayStation 2. So I think we're beyond that at this point. I think if you can squeeze 4 years out of a console, you've gotten plenty of lifetime out of it. And not that you should be fully expected to have to buy the next system, but don't be surprised if that company's moving on and updating their hardware to compete. Because again, PC architecture just doubles and quadruples every year upon end. Like these new Pascal cards are coming from NVIDIA, and I think that press conference is next week or something like that. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the new 1080 card has 50% more performance than the current 980. Something like that.
It sounded like you said 50 cents.
I know. 50 Cent. 50 Cent gonna come out. He's coming out with a new album, and it's gonna be baked into the GPU. That's what's gonna happen.
SMS GPUs.
Yeah.
Okay. On that note, we're gonna wrap it up, guys. Head over to gamertagradio.com. Or play.it/gamertag and listen to our past episodes, or find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, and other places. Just subscribe and share with your friends. Also, you can give us a call, 786-273-7GTR. That's 786-273-7GTR. Email us, fanmail@gamertagradio.com. Anything else, guys?
I'm going to start playing Trials of Osiris with my son. I know nobody cares because it's Destiny, but I'm doing it. So there.
Shout out to Butters.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to do it with Butters. Yeah, Butters. We're going to do it with Butters. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. And Pete, I'm in level 29 division.
Yeah, I know. When you're not disappearing and falling asleep dead.
Falling asleep? What are you talking about? I was away from my console.
That's what happens when you rage quit against NPCs in the game. It's supposed to log out. It's supposed to go to your safe house and then log out. Not just.
Oh, I just left it there. I was like, change.
See, that's exactly why. And then someone like me comes along, jumps into your game, says, "Oh, let me help Danny," and there's just dead on the floor. And then I have to revive you, and then I have to clean up the mess you've left, and then you disconnect because you're not at the game.
That's so weird.
Oh, real quick before we go, since we're talking to Division, I know you put the contest out there, Pete, already for that Division PC code. But just got to thank Daniel for sending us that code, and he sent me a Division code for the PC too. So I am going to play the Division on the PC. I am.
Oh my God.
I have Uplay installed, and I'm looking at it right now. I just have to hit download to play it. I just haven't done it yet.
Unnamed Ubisoft employee is going to be so happy.
No, he's not. He'll still call me a hater.
8 out of 8.
No, but shout out to Daniel though. I really appreciate him hitting me up and offering up those codes so we could give one away to the community. That was very kind of him.
Did you give it away?
We haven't received anything on it yet.
No, not yet.
Gotcha.
But maybe by the time this episode happens, we will. We'll see. But if you haven't, go listen to the previous episode and find out all the details. How about that?
Yeah. Yes. Woo. All right, we're out. Until next time. Peace.
You're listening to Gamer Tag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks for listening. Tune in next week.